country from rebel forces. They continued one successful campaign after another, suffering heavy losses at times, but continuing the advance to free Mama Salome.
The Sierra Leone Civil War, which began in 1991, was officially resolved in 2000 after the struggling Nigerian-led United Nations troops were heavily reinforced by a British force spearheaded by 1st Battalion Parachute Regiment, supported by other elements of the Parachute Regiment, SAS, and Royal Navy and Royal Air Force Operation Palliser. The arrival of this force, codenamed Operation Palliser, resulted in the defeat of rebel forces and restored the civilian government elected in 1998 back to Freetown. Since then, almost 72,500 former combatants have been disarmed, and the country has re-established a functioning democracy. The current president of Sierra Leone is Ernest Bai Koroma, who was sworn in on the 17th of September, 2007. Since he first began touring the country and making early preparations for operations on the ground, Dr. Jackson has lived to witness his dream of a people reunited and working together towards common goals. As 1BLOOD began implementing its early community farms behind battle lines of war, combatants and opposing forces began laying down weapons and picking up tools, as human beings began to see through the despair of war to a hope of a brighter future where humanity as 1BLOOD could live together in peace and love. The following videos and photographs will chronicle that unfolding reality, beginning as it happened in 1999.
Again, here now I can just say go to Mama County and see the rice. Because when you go to see the rice, you see people there working who used to have anger and hostilities towards each other because they were differing opposing factions during the conflict in this country. Some were victims, some are victims of some of the people that they're even working with and around now. But those issues are issues that no longer exist. And people eat together, they work together, they laugh together, they play together. They work as a 1BLOOD family because they bought into the reality that we're all of common origin. We all share the same blood. We all bleed red when we're cut. And unless we begin to work together, honoring our Creator because we're all made in His image, unless we begin to do that and put superficial issues behind us, we destroy ourselves.
In most of Africa, walking is the primary means of transportation, and in many areas, the only means of transportation. These early beneficiaries of the SCEI 1BLOOD Swamp to Rice program have walked many miles to participate in harvesting this 1BLOOD sponsored farm. The 1BLOOD Swamp to Rice process is very logical, practical, profitable, and sustainable, even when manual labor is the only available option. In this farm, they're harvesting rice where there was only raw bush and virgin perennial swamp just 5 months earlier. Harvesting, like swamp preparation, is hard work. These male and female beneficiary trainees have worked hard and are looking forward to the food part of the F4W, or food for work, part of the day. These women stay at the closest village and prepare rice from last year's harvest for the workers. One advantage of full community engagement is when all capable bodies work, the whole community eats, the old, the young, the maimed, and the sick. The distinguishing thing about this hosting village is that there is food, and plenty of it. Food to cook, food being harvested, and food in storage, and seed for next planting. Several varieties to match the topography and soil variations. Under the One Blood F4W system, there is plenty of work, plenty of food, and plenty of fun, because food time is fun time. This is a sustainable program where those too old to work eat, those too young to work eat, the women who cook eat, the women who work eat, the men who work eat, the youth who work eat. These Mende-speaking workers from different villages have assembled to express their appreciation for One Blood International and what it means to them and their communities in their own language.
One Blood International. Then Matagadila, Makila, Makala, Matukuto, Kaki, then William, we are now development here in Makuma. We are the one way we are. Home we are below, Namaloga, Nogama, or Munikbe, Mutia, we are in the government. So now, One Blood International.
These villagers have turned their weapons of offense and defense into tools of food production and peace. Using the One Blood conflict elimination strategies and techniques, these villagers have returned to the ground, literally turning their swords into plowshares, begun feeding themselves, and now having walked many miles to another village, helping others to do what they have learned to do: grow their own food, harvest and feed themselves, and, as a show of love and concern, help others. As always, with the One Blood program, there is food. We own food, and plenty of it.
In addition to our growing work in Sierra Leone, Dr. Jackson made personal diplomatic visits to Côte d'Ivoire to meet the president inspect some of our operations, and arrange for a Meet Your President Business Development Summit for diasporic Ivorians in North and South America. It also provided an opportunity for Dr. Jackson to introduce Patrick Gish from U.S. headquarters to some of the sights and sounds of West Africa. Other meetings with top officials were held in an effort to avert what he saw as a potential threat to the new administration. He returned to the U.S. in time to enjoy his wedding anniversary. Then headed on to Washington, D.C. to help with the summit preparation to be held at 4 Stars Hotel. The successful summit enabled over 300 Ivorian business people to meet their president.
Banajuma is a very small village, but we don't do something in the name of one blood, we do not ever forget we. They give all the small villages we want to join one blood.
On behalf of the Kakwa Family Farmers Association, I wish to welcome you, and your entourage to Banajuma. You are most welcome.
For your attendance and your welcome. It is very encouraging, it is very inspiring. And as always, I'm glad to be here back home, not only in Salon, but here in Bandajuma. When we first began the program here with 7 bushels of rice, it was said that in order to develop, in order to feed ourselves, we had to have machines. But the truth is, machines are very recent inventions. Most of the food that has fed the world for thousands of years was produced with the power of manual labor. When you depend on machines, then you're vulnerable for the price of fuel and the price of parts because of breakdown. So if we concentrate on using what God has given us, which is our own power, and we apply our hands to agriculture, we can feed ourselves, and that is what we've proven in Bandajuma. They can take care of their business, and we can take care of our business, which is raising our families, supplying our communities, and feeding ourselves.
where we are now, we're at the point